What is up, MMA buds? It is December 13th, 2018, and we are live. We got much to get to. UFC 231 recap. UFC 233 is canceled. What? One championship gets a US broadcast deal. We got sickos involved in the MMA game and much, much more. But you know the game. Let's look into this shit.
We here to do work, baby. We gonna people gonna bleed. It's gonna get cut open, and somebody might die.
And guys, how about that? Brett Okamoto. Let's get right into the news. UFC 233 has been canceled. And breaking. UFC is rearranging its pay-per-view schedule. UFC 233 will no longer take place on January 26th in Anaheim due to combination of factors. That pay-per-view will change to another date, so 2019 will still feature the same amount of pay-per-views as originally planned. More information coming. What's up, BLT? Jumping in the chat. Guys, look at this crazy shit. UFC cannibalizes its first pay-per-view of the year for the first ESPN Plus card of the year. So they are pushing all of the people towards the subscription package. ESPN Plus wants to get all these signups. Well, what does that mean? That means ESPN, you just got effed over out of some pay-per-view prelims, and we just missed ourselves a pay-per-view. This is some crazy shit going on here. You will take note that Bellator was going up against the UFC, both of them down in the Southern California, LA area, and it looks like Bellator is going to have the night all to themselves. I think the UFC learned a lesson here trying to simulcast during a Bellator fight. What are they thinking, man? This shit is crazy. We all seen this with the first FS1 card, how hard they went. Chael Sonnen, Shogun, Connor, Faber, they stacked that thing so hard because they wanted all the eyeballs there. Everyone needed to come watch this brand new network. Well, the same thing is going on over here at ESPN Plus. They're pushing it towards signing up $5 a month. But us as fans, we're going to make out pretty great in this. We get a $5 awesome card instead of a $65 card or whatever price they're charging these days, which is some awesome shit. But the UFC messed up big time, man. They had excellent fights going on down there in LA, but they just straight up cannibalized themselves. Dana White, 3-4 days ago, let it be known that, hey, I'm going to go home. And I'm going to start tomorrow on Sunday. I got to get this shit done by Tuesday, though, because then I got to fly out or whatever the hell he was doing. And what do we know? Dana couldn't get the job done. He couldn't make no main event. He even asked Max Holloway, who just fought 4 rounds, taking who knows how much damage. Hey, can you make that cut down to 145s again? Nope. Everyone told Dana no. How many millions of dollars did the UFC just lose by canceling a pay-per-view? That would be good to know, because why couldn't you just afford to pay fucking Colby Covington and Woodley that money? From everything I hear, Colby is out there saying, Dan Lambert is doing my negotiations. Dan Lambert is negotiating for me. So, hey, UFC, the most sought after welterweight fight you've had in a long time, Colby versus Woodley. We want to get properly paid for that. Dana's like, how about Usman? He's looking pretty good, right, guys? Usman's great. No, he's not, Dana. You can't even fill out the Palms at Vegas with 1,000 people buying tickets. You got to give away 1,000 just to pack that arena in there. And he puts on a lackluster main event. Guys, here's the facts. When Usman fights, people tune out. Go look at the ratings. Go look at the peaks. The peaks are always way before in the card. Whenever Usman's headlining versus Maia, versus RDA, a.k.a. Colby Sloppy Seconds, this shit doesn't happen. The views go down. Well, what do you know? Do you want Usman Colby at 233? Nope. We want Colby versus Woodley. That shit ain't happening. They asked champion after champion after champion, yo, will you step up and do the damn thing? Nope. Well, here we go. UFC has to cancel that pay-per-view. That's where we're at. What a fantastic start to the year. But, man, I forgot to grab it. Let's get Scott Coker. You must have had a reaction to this, right? Here's Scott Coker's reaction. UFC 233 going to compete versus Bellator. Nope. What the hell? No words, just this gift, man. And so they got to take this L, take a loss financially short term to gain long term, like they did when buying everybody 7 to 10 years ago. Yeah, they did. They certainly bought up all the big promotions. And man, that was actually just thinking about that the other day, BLT, about all of the great fights that we had in the UFC era. Man, a lot of them came from acquisitions. The Diaz fight, the Jake Shields fight, freaking, you bring over Luke Rockhold as the champion over there. Misha Tate, Ronda Rousey, DC, all of these kind of guys that have became stars and helped the UFC along. They come through the acquisition process. Since that has ended, the UFC has been struggling big time, man. Where are the new stars? Where are these stars that we're looking for, man? I don't know with the UFC these days, but let's check back with Brett. UFC is rearranging the pay-per-view schedule. All right, did I pick the same one? God darn it. Okay, hold on. He said something else out here. Hold on, we'll just close that down. Go over here. Okay, that's Ariel. No. Close this one down. Sorry, guys. I'll prepare better next time. Here we go. It's no secret, a big reason UFC 233 thinned out is the UFC stacked the first ESPN card on January 19th. Good news for if you're a consumer, right? Because it's only $5 a month. Great deep card for less money a week earlier, and you don't have to pick between UFC and Bellator. Look at Brett Okamoto spinning this like this isn't a complete L for the UFC. Like they didn't just go head-to-head against Bellator, and they couldn't even make the date. They forfeited their asses out of the conversation even, which is crazy, man. It's crazy what's going on right now. Jay Smooth, UFC keeps fucking around and they'll lose the audience to promotions like one. What a bad way to kick off UFC on ESPN. Guys, right? What up, Raider? I mean, you cannibalized your UFC 233 card. Let's talk about this. How does that card work? Well, apparently there's going to be 5 fights on the pay-per-view. Of course, that's just the same. 4 or 6 are going to be on the prelim portion. That is live on big ESPN. So ESPN, ESPN2, News, something like that. Well, by cannibalizing that whole card so they could have a massive, epic ESPN Plus card, well, people sign up $5 for that. And then what? They're going to watch UFC 233 and see a lesser product on a bigger channel? That doesn't work whatsoever. The UFC is not looking at this clearly. It's crazy, and it's fucking clear to me to see that, man. They didn't have an ESPN card to go to, so what do? They cancel it. How does fucking ESPN feel like that? I'm sure they had that date already filled out. Now, UFC just went, bye. Jesus Christ. It's fucking nonsense, man, but the UFC on Phoenix card will be your first ESPN card. Besides the prelims from this ESPN Plus card, that's supposedly supposed to be on ESPN. Crazy shit, man. It's just, they don't know what they're doing yet. It's pretty goddamn obvious and clear to see that. Maybe UFC shot themselves in the foot with all these super fights and now they don't have champions to fight, or maybe they're just idiots and they'll never pay the guy to step up and take that fight. There's plenty of people that would fight on short notice. They just ain't going to do it for the peanuts that they're getting offered, man. Yeah, Brett gets paid under the table to cover UFC's ass. Big time, Jay. What you definitely see, I don't know if it's Ariel passing the info to Brett or if Brett is just the go-to guy, because Ariel's not. But that is 100% what's going on. This is essentially state-run media over here when you're listening to Brett Okamoto. So when you see him dick ride in the UFC, we know exactly what's going on over here. But man, that ESPN Plus card is looking stacked. Guys, you can sign up for $5 a month or $50 a year. And man, it costs $30 for a Risen New Year's Eve. It costs $10 for a Brave event. $3 for an ACV pay-per-view. When you get 20 cards plus a lot more content, all of the prelims from the 10 cards that will be on ESPN, maybe even the Fight Pass exclusive portion, you're going to get so much content for only $50 a year. I highly recommend doing that. Even if you're like me, myself, a cord cutter, it's going to be great. And with that, man, get yourself a VPN, get yourself a Cody, some MMA Reddit live streams, save that pay-per-view cost, just pay that one lump sum for the year, and you're going to enjoy some good MMA content in 2019. For all of you sickos that never bought into UFC Fight Pass, for half the price, you can get ESPN Plus. So I do think this could be a game changer. It could go great. I'm not excited off the start that I'm seeing so far. It's just my take. Let's check this out, though. Moving on to other news. Ariel Helwani dropped not too long ago. It's looking like, or no, sorry, it was Chatri Citradong. Says, big news, big announcement. I asked everyone, what network is going to be the next USA TV deal? Well, we got our answer. One Championship and Turner Sports officially announced their broadcast partnership this morning. Same details we reported a couple days ago. Here they are in case you missed it. Starting Saturday, January 19th, from Jakarta, Indonesia, Turner Sports has reached a 3-year partnership with One Championship, the world's largest mixed martial arts association and the biggest global sports media property in Asian history, to distribute its live event coverage in the United States. Per terms of the agreement, Bleacher Report Live, or their streaming service, will start streaming and be the primary destination for One live events in the United States. And Bleacher Report will present 24 live events, and of that, we're going to get 12 one-hour broadcasts to go on TNT. And I threw this fucking little idea out there. I said, what if this one that we see on TNT? So we had the One Super app. It was amazing. It's free. I'm sure with the VPN, we can easily get around playing for Bleacher Report Live, but we'll see what happens. Well, how did everyone first start tuning into that, man? Everyone was watching Kaposa, Gabaka Hitman, and Jola Sonda, all the people making all those great GIFs out there. We're watching their GIFs of One. It didn't take much time to watch all that shit. And so I was just like, well, what if this TNT broadcast is just going to be the best of One? What if it's just Kaposa's highlights on a TV broadcast? I myself would love that, even if it was on a tape delay, because it's going to get so many more eyeballs on One Championship, on all those fighters, and all of those great fights. With the details that what I hear, 12 one-hour broadcasts, what else could you get away with? You could push some of your main stars, but what's the use in that, man? Push the best fights. Let's show more fights. That's what it looks like TNT is going to try to do in One Championship with their new cable broadcasting partner. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like. Still going to be watching One Championship live, whether it's on YouTube through the correct link, the One Super app. We just might have to get our hands on a VPN and or pay for Bleacher Report Live, but with a price point of $10 a month, which is the same as the Zone, which offers 6 MMA promotions, not one, plus Canelo, plus Joshua. It's hard to shoot out a $10 price point when that's all that you're offering. So as far as that goes, we will stay tuned. That is a great signing, though, for one championship. I don't care what people are saying. Getting eyeballs from the USA audience that will not have been watching it, have not been seeking it out, I think is going to be a good thing. And you're on a big network like Turner or TNT, which broadcasts NBA on TNT. Now we're going to have one on TNT. And I would have that Twitter if they didn't fucking suspend my ass. But whatever. Let's move on. We got more MMA news to get to. Some of this, like much of the news that you get from the MMA media, I heard this on that podcast. Let's play this game. Which podcast did you guys hear this on? And we'll start off with Damon Martin. This is great news. Let's give him a shout out. Thank you, Damon. Michael Bisping will join the UFC broadcast team doing color commentary starting in 2019 with a new deal on ESPN. Bisping was fantastic during the Contender Series on UFC Fight Pass. Well, now it's official. We knew Bisping was doing tryouts. If you listen to his podcast, he's going in the back. He's recording with like Brandon Fitzgerald and other guys like that. Well, it sounds like he landed the gig. But what must go up must come down. Congratulations, Michael Bisping. Guys, and let's talk about UFC tonight, man. UFC tonight had their last official program yesterday, and I did catch most of it. They did a great job doing all the highlight packages with the best of all the funny moments and just all the best of moments that happened there on the show. I didn't catch every UFC tonight, so I did see some stuff that was awesome and great to see. Bisping was one of the staples of UFC tonight, so with that show going away, bringing in more personalities to ESPN is something I'm very much going to like to see. Currently, we only have Ariel. Brett made an appearance on a weigh-in, and the bad guy, Chael Sonnen. Those are our guys. Now we can add Bisping to the commentary team. Who's going to get some sort of desk job once we go to UFC? How's that going to be broadcasted and just put on? You know, we're getting pre-fight and post-fight shows with ESPN Plus, which is going to be great to see. What up, Richard? So Bisping joins the crew, but like everyone who knows science, who knows physics, what must go up must come down. With every action, there is a reaction. And with that, I mean, via Ariel Helwani, we got some more news. Veteran MMA broadcaster Jimmy Smith will be a free agent coming early 2019, sources told ESPN. Smith recently completed a one-year deal with the UFC and will now be looking for a new broadcast home next year. He has yet to sign with anyone, but is hoping to do so soon, sources say. Guys, what are you thinking of this news here? I think it's fantastic. I think, number one, they definitely underused Jimmy Smith. That man did not get highlighted enough. It was like, hey, someone doesn't want to go on this away show. Jimmy, will you step up for us? Jimmy is one of the best freaking announcers, commentators in the game. By far. And so this guy deserves a full-time gig, not some part-time gig. He's got the resume. Worked with Bellator for days. Previous fighter. Worked with the UFC. And now we're seeing them kind of push him out for a previous UFC champion. Kind of crazy to see. Kevin, I would not know because my Skype is not open, my friend. Anyways, so with Jimmy Smith, though, look at the freaking landscape right now, guys. Bellator getting paid way more money now that they're on the zone. And they're kind of lacking some guys, man. They got a couple of crews floating around there. Not today, Kevin. Sorry, my man. But with all those crews, they definitely need more people, and they need some staples that are out there. And so with Jimmy Smith, could he possibly go back to Bellator? He does know everyone there. He knows the history of Bellator, so that makes a ton of sense. But what do we know about other promotions? One Championship is out here. One Championship just has this Turner deal. We kind of need some people that we've heard of, that we are familiar with. So we know Miesha Tate has signed on to do some announcing with One Championship. What if we get Jimmy Smith over there? I know Robin Black was floated. The idea of signing up full-time with One Championship sounds like he kind of wants to keep doing his own thing, so we'll stick with that. 420. But with that said, Jimmy Smith would be a great addition to anybody. I don't care who it is. One Championship and Bellator seem like definitely something that could happen, though. What do you guys think in the chat? Where is Jimmy Smith going to land? I would love to hear what you guys got to say. So let's fire up some bowls. BLT says Sony's replaced Big John. He should or shouldn't be doing play-by-play. I don't mind Big John. As far as him joining the Bellator crew, to be 100% honest, him and Goldie is not a group that I love. And it's basically, they just get sidetracked so fucking much, man. They get sidetracked. They start talking about nonsense when we want to be hearing a lot about the fights. He does have excellent insight, excellent history of the sport. Maybe that could be used in a different capacity, though. What are you guys thinking? Jimmy Smith at 1 would explode minds. Jimmy and Michael Chavello. Damn. Oh, shit. That would be a pretty epic crew. I would love to see that. Work the 2-man team, maybe even a 3-man team. Not exactly sure. But Jimmy Smith should replace Rogan. Man, the thing with Rogan is he's a staple of MMA. He could get hired by anybody, not just the UFC. And that would help him immensely. He's got the JRE MMA show, which gets more views than any other MMA program out there, podcast. And then he's got his other podcast that just makes him fucking the biggest podcaster in the world, essentially. It's hard to let a man like that go. So I see that just paying the man until Joe just says that he's done with it, honestly. And so they don't let Joe go. It's like they're holding around to a fighter because they don't want him going to another promotion so he can bolster them up. So I don't ever see them letting Joe go. He's going to get one of those 10-fight contracts that just never goes away. But he's kind of smarter than that. He only signs 1 or 2 year deals, then comes back and renegotiates. Now, with all the money they got thrown around, fucking, who knows, man? I don't know where Jimmy could end up. I'm excited to see where Jimmy goes, though. And don't get it twisted. Maybe they just want to see if there's any market out there for Jimmy, which there definitely is. I 100% would love to see him anywhere. Oh, PFL as well. PFL is out there, guys. What if next season he comes back with them? Jimmy would be a great acquisition for anybody. And I think, I don't know, he's just going to be a free agent out there. And most likely won't get repicked up by the UFC. But as he's being underutilized, I think he deserves a full-time gig, man. That's what I think. Joe's halfway out the door, says Kevin from Chicago. Definitely, you could see that with his amount of preparation. And just, he doesn't care as much as he used to. But I do appreciate that at certain point in time. A lot of people hated Snoop Dogg because he was such a casual, but he brought in the casual audience. And those guys don't want to hear fucking the underhook talk that Dominic Cruz is getting and how technical and deep he's going to break down exactly what they're thinking and shit. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They just want to hear the O's and the fucking Sean O'Malley, whatever the fuck Snoop Dogg does. And Joe kind of brings that casual. He's not going to be like, oh, guys, remember last time we saw him on the UFC Fight Pass prelim portion? No, he's not going to bring that shit up, man, which I don't mind it. You want to call and be like, I don't really know this guy. I don't know who the fuck Sarge Eubanks is. I appreciate that very much. So every once in a while, having the casual during the broadcast, that might be what ESPN needs, man. We might have to take off some of the more technical people off ESPN from the start. They just need to kind of be introduced to this. They don't need the fucking... They need the 101 course, man, not the fourth year PhD course that Dominic Cruz is putting out there. But back to the chat. Boss Rutan fucked over the Bare Knuckle Boxing Federation fighters. Man, where did this drop, Jay? Because I would love to pick that up over on Twitter. Or maybe I'll just go to the message that you sent me. That's probably the best way in here. Uh-oh. Or Jay, did you text me that shit? Anyhow, let's type in WBKFF. Is that what we want to look up? WBKF is in hot water, says BJPim.com. Reports of fighters that not have been paid from November 9th card. And guys, this was that card that we saw in Wyoming that Sean Merriman and who else was it? God, I'm forgetting the Bellator fighter right now. Anyhow, both of them pulled out before the card even started. All sorts of production issues go on. I knew of it because Boss Rutan came on MMA Junkie Radio the week of and was saying all sorts of weird, shady shit, man. And he was saying he came in at the last moment because some higher up had some like backdoor deals going on with fighters where they were paying them all sorts of crazy money, but then they were going to reap 10% of the benefits. The show was completely bankrupt from the get-go. Well, the next thing we know, they have to hire a completely different production crew to come out and just make sure this event even happens. Hiccups during the whole goddamn broadcast. The fight's not too goddamn bad. For some reason, MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting, name the site, they got paid to cover this shit. And other people are out there. I think it was Josh Gross. He called them out too. He's like, hey, all of you outlets that went out of your way to give these guys coverage, for whatever reason, cough your paid your cough. Brandon Ward, that's who. And you guys need to cover what the fuck's going on right now, which are these guys did not get paid. Phil Baroni goes out and knocks out Chris Lieben. And the American Badass and he hasn't been paid lately, man. So these guys are taking to Twitter. When it comes to UFC pay and MMA pay, we love to bitch all the time about how they're not making enough. Well, how about the guys that aren't even getting fucking paid? Can we make a big deal about that for a second? I'm 100% for this story. WBKFF, what the fuck's going on? Boss Rutan, how about you come on MMA Junkie Radio next week and inform us how the hell you guys are going to make this up? Or does the fighters need to get together and form some sort of class action lawsuit? Man, us fans that really care, we need to come up with some way to form like a fucking 401c. I don't know what the fuck it is. Some sort of nonprofit where we could just funnel in people that are pros from certain fields, get some lawyers, some doctors, some specialists, whatever, and just give them some free advice for the goddamn meantime. And because these guys need some fucking advice, man. They're broke fighters. Man, what kind of broke fighter that hasn't even been paid can afford some lawyer to go and fight this shit, man? This is crazy. The best way of going about it is to take to Twitter. I'm sure they already tried contacting the folks themselves. So now we got to go the social media outrage way, which You know what I mean? This is 2018, 2019. This is how you get shit done in real life, man. So what are you guys thinking of that? Thanks for bringing that up in the chat. If there's any topics you guys think I haven't stepped on or gotten to, let me know. Boss Root and Rob, these filthy animals, says Kevin from Chicago. Steve Sparks, yay! What up, Steve? Man, I should have been doing more broadcasts this week. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm fucking gonna try as hard as I can to get back on the Tuesday, Thursday groove. And then stay tuned for the periscopes that go down anytime I'm out hiking and shit like that. Been listening, just couldn't get in the chat. Nice. Bass fucked them with no lube, says Jay Smooth. God damn, they did, right? What the fuck? Chris Liebman's still fighting, says Stewie? Yeah, he did. He fought in bare knuckle out here versus Phil Baroni, and these guys did not get paid, so we need to make some outrage about this. Make sure these guys do get, some shit coming their way. So we touched on that. Let's now get to some UFC. Fuck it. Let's go 231 recap, guys. Holy shit. Me and Jay and Kevin were on these broadcasts, man. And I think it was only when me and Jay were doing it. But we gave you a breakdown of these fights here. And I'm pretty proud to come back and tell you that I'm proud of myself on how I called this, guys. Because all you motherfuckers were sleeping on Max Holloway, and it was disgusting to see. Not really. I mean, you got to build up these contenders. Brian Ortega, he's the sexy new guy. He's the underdog. He's got 6 finishes in a row or whatever the hell he'd had. But Max Holloway had 12 victories in a row. Now he's got 13. He proved all you guys are fucking crazy, man. Let's go back and recap Max Holloway's year. So to that, we got to go, of course, to the industry leader in Tapology. Let's look up Max Blessed Holloway. And because last year, Max didn't have the best start, man. Okay, so check this, guys. December last year, he fights Jose Aldo. And that was only because Frankie Edgar got injured. So he had to take on Jose twice. So let's run it back with Frankie. Let's come back in March. Doesn't work out because canceled bout. Oh, how do you see the reason? Holloway got his leg injured. Next thing we know, it can't get rebooked with Frankie because Ortega beats him. But then Khabib and Ferguson are supposed to fight week of. Fucking Ferguson gets hurt or some shit. Here comes Max Holloway to save the day. I was fucking raising notice on this as much as I could, everywhere I could. Guys, I've heard Max Holloway weighs 188 pounds right now. Let's call it 185 pounds. And you want him to cut 30 pounds the week of to get down to 155 to take on Khabib? I think that is fucking stupid, and let's fix this completely. Let's maintain the matchup of Khabib and Holloway. Let's just make it at 165s. What happens? Dolce comes out and says, what the fuck was Lockhart doing? What was that team up to? Because they took away all his carbs, all his energy, and put him on a high-protein diet. We know that. We also know that as soon as Max Holloway showed up and he starts water loading and he starts getting stuff via the UFC, that's when he gets sick. And with that, we get now conspiracy theories all around. Max Holloway got knocked out in practice. Max Holloway had a concussion. Max Holloway's having weight cut issues. Max Holloway's throwing out the conspiracy. Hey, man, was I fucking poisoned? He went full Nick Diaz on us, which, fuck, shows you again, Nick Diaz leading the game. Was GSP the favorite? Were they trying to take out Nick? I don't know. You guys can make your own decisions there. Was the undefeated guy UFC's favorite? It seems like it to me. Max Holloway is a fucking G, though. They wanted him to move up to 155 before that fight even happened, before he even fought Ortega. Or wait, we're talking about Khabib though. I don't fucking know, guys. I'm confusing my own self. But with that, he couldn't make it. And then he's supposed to fight Ortega. No, that was the Ortega fight. He couldn't fight Khabib because of the weight cut. Then he couldn't fight Ortega because concussion-like symptoms, poison, weight cut, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it. Well, he comes out, fights Brian Ortega, and everyone slept on him. Everyone, all the way up to the odds makers, slept on Holloway. You're talking about a guy with some of the best boxing in the UFC, with how he could go up to the head and to the body, stance switch, as Luke Thomas mentions, can move in multiple directions, whichever way he wants to go. He put on a fucking clinic. Mind you, his performance was only even better because of the little bit of adversity he had to go through in round number 3, when Brian Ortega shows a little bit of, hey, I'm not out of this, man. I'm still here. I'm going to crack you a couple times. I'm going to do a little bit of adjustments, which is what you want to see from the young guys. It's not enough, though, man. And who was it? Someone on Sirius was like, man, that was watching a fucking ice cream cone, and it just melt in your hand. And once fucking round 3 was over, round 4 started. That was Max Holloway's best round ever. A record-breaking performance in so many ways that Max Holloway just put down, and he takes him out in the 4th. Apparently, from what I've heard, Max Holloway looks to the broadcast booth or something and said, this is the round. This is when it's going to be done. And me and Jay was talking about it. I'm like, Jay, what the fuck, dude? Everyone's sleeping on Max. I think he's going to work the head and the body. I think he's going to get a TKO via punches, and it's going to come in the 4th or 5th. It happened in between the 4th or 5th, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud to come to you and be a part of the Blessed Express. Hopefully everyone here at MMA BUDZ is with me. And we're going to ride this fucking bandwagon all the way to UFC Hawaii. I don't care how long it takes, man. We're going to get UFC Hawaii one day or another. And I'm so excited that it's the blessed era right now, guys. Because if you haven't seen it, over on UFC, they released the Thrill and the Agony. And UFC's main channel, I think, put it out. But check this out. Max Holloway comes over at the end of the fight, says, Brian, that was one hell of a fight, brother. I love you. And Brian, we should be friends probably. We're going to be friends for sure. And then this bro hug, man. Did we just become best friends? We saw that on the UFC tonight when they're doing the recap. Tyron and fucking Wonder Boy became best friends out there. Look at Brian Ortega and Max Holloway. Some of the chillest motherfuckers in the game coming out here. Brian takes an ass whooping and is man enough to give him the props and become best friends, guys. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Good fights every weekend. Best sport ever, says Steve Sparks. RIP UFC on Fox. Right? Now we're going to have some of the best fights on the biggest platform. And guys, I'm a fucking Pac-12 fan. I know how much of a hindrance it could be to be on Fox Sports 1 instead of ESPN or an ESPN affiliate. Big Ten, SEC, whatever the fuck. Excuse all my cursing today. Well, what do we know, man? We should almost do that. We should kind of go back and recap the UFC on Fox era. Let's get a little info here. Let's fucking look at this, guys. No. Go back. Okay, we're going to work an image in here. Let's get a bigger one. Image sub. Okay, UFC on Fox. It's not impressive then, man. What do you guys say in the chat? I'm getting behind. BLT, is it longer than Randy Couture's balls? Santos always comes to fight. Shit, we'll get back to that. All right, we'll keep this for a minute. We'll touch on the UFC on Fox, what we think about that. Let's keep going with the recap here, man. Max Holloway's performance was incredible, record-breaking. He's got the most wins at featherweight. I think the most finishes at featherweight. The longest active winning streak in the UFC. I don't really consider GSP active, especially when he goes out yesterday and says he doesn't even know if he wants to fight. So with that being said, he's your current longest winning streak, Max Holloway. Just record after record. Most significant strikes landed, most in a fight. And what did we see? Guys, I went and ran a little stat for you. You know why Max Holloway is going to be not only the people's champ, but the fighter's fighter? Like, you know, why he's going to be beloved forever? The way he fights, and he always bring it, kind of like a Diaz bro did. He's maybe potentially a lot more technical than a Diaz bro, but he's got the mentality. He's got the taunting. There's just so much of that shit that I love to see. And you know what I was looking up, man? 290 significant strikes is what he landed, or some shit like that, which is incredible in this only 4-round fight that went down. Well, I added together Tyron Woodley's last 7 fights. So why does everyone not like Tyron Woodley? Is MMA racist, as Joe Daddy would say? Is fucking Dana White turning him against him? Or is Tyron just doing a lot of stuff that people don't like? Well, here's a stat for you. 290 significant strikes in Max Holloway's last fight. It took Tyron 7 fights to get less than that. 277. So Tyron, maybe don't get record-breaking performances for least amount of punches thrown. Maybe don't get record-breaking performances with least amount of punches landed in a 5-round title fight. And maybe you might have more fans out there. That's just my 2 cents. And I was just thinking, why does everyone love Max? Why does people not like Tyron? Is MMA really racist? Or is there just certain things that Tyron does, like hold out for a year, never mention Colby's name until the UFC wants to rip that fight right out from under both of you? I don't know what's going on. Very racist, says Staley. Shout outs to Joe. Shout outs to Big Joe. Joe, you're welcome back anytime, my friend. From there, though, guys, that's just a stat I wanted you guys all to know. Joanna Jędrzejczyk jumps up in the division to probably what should be her natural weight class. Well, unfortunately, a lady that's already beat you 3 times in Muay Thai was dropping down to her official weight class as well in Valentina Bolshevchenko. And she ran through Joanna, ladies and gentlemen. We saw just a striking, almost clinic go down, which, you know, you're used to seeing Joanna do that to other people. Well, we seen what Valentina could do. She out-kickboxed Holly Holm and out-grappled Holly Holm, who was way bigger than Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So with that, I took that performance and I said I see her being able to do almost the same to Joanna. Well, she was able to out-grapple Joanna when needed it. Didn't really go to it as an offensive plan. It was more a defensive tactic. Whenever Joanna would just do something, she would react, and boom, there's a takedown. Then next thing you know, Valentina starts spinning back, kicking, and then Joanna starts trying to kick. Well, then Valentina reaches her leg out, dumps her on her back. Joanna doesn't add anything to her game. I mean, besides really becoming great at stuffing takedowns, which definitely worked at the strawweight division, her striking was never something that, you know, she put in record performances for the most punches thrown, but none of those punches were getting close to taking people out, really. Not since Jessica Penne or when she took the belt from the Cookie Monster. And so, with that, going up a division to take on the stronger lady, not going to work out great from you. With that being said, I'm not going to push Joanna completely out of the flyweight division. Look up and down that shit. I think she's an excellent matchup for plenty of those ladies out there. She's got a lot more experience. She is an actual previous champion as well in a different weight class. So I think she should stick around at 125s. Build up your frame and quit being so goddamn lean. Because what is there down at strawweight for you? You lost twice to the champ. You want to go on and say how you didn't lose, We thought, I don't know. I thought maybe this was going to be a moment where Joanna finally faced the fucking reality of the situation in front of her and ate some crow, but it didn't happen. She just doubles down. I'm coming back down for the championship fight. The only way she gets it is if Jessica Andrade is able to beat Rose Namajunas, and hopefully in emphatic fashion. Because if she beats Rose barely, then we need to see a rematch. In that occasion, if Joanna's going to get rematches and shit, then why isn't Rose getting rematches? Especially when she grants it. Especially when she's such a popular fighter in the UFC. Coming off of tough. Coming off of just excellent, gritty performances. Every time she goes out there. She won a big fight. I think UFC on Fox versus Paige Van Zandt. So she's gotten the rub from a few chicks. Beats the karate hottie, you know. Rose is a big star. I don't want to see Joanna just get an automatic shot. But, man, I think she should stick around at 125s. I think she should look at some maybe favorable matchups that are there. There's some people that maybe they got higher ranked than they should be. She could take them out and take on that spot. From there, we can go down to, oh my God, Evil Cowboy versus Gunnar Nelson. Evil Cowboy tricked me. Fucking Jay Smooth was totally right. It's every time I don't pick Evil Cowboy, he wins. That's why he's Evil Cowboy in my mind. And now, as soon as I hop on the bandwagon of him, even though in my own fucking 165-pound rankings, I had Gunnar at like 8 and Cowboy at like 15. Even though I had that shit, I still went with Alex. I was a victim of whatever you've done for me lately. Truly. And Jesus, we saw how shredded Gunnar was. And this was a gritty performance, man. If I'm not mistaken, something happens to Gunnar and he starts like bleeding, but he gets a top position and he's almost like bleeding into the face of Cowboy. It kind of affected his defense a little bit. And I did have heard someone bring this up on a different show that they really thought that affected him. And his idea was when it cuts that bad, they should get in there and clean that up a little bit, especially if it's on the top position. Ref can just come in, give it a quick hold and a wipe maybe, set him back in top position and let the fight continue. Because that did affect Cowboy a little bit. Well, the next thing we know, Gunnar Nelson lands an elbow from the gods, from Bahala Kataru, splits open fucking Cowboy's face. One of the craziest cuts we've ever seen. Not because how big it was, not because how deep it was. We saw fucking MVP break a dude's skull in, which was pretty nuts. Well, this one bled everywhere like a stuck pig. And it only got even worse when Gunny hops on the neck and chokes him out while forcing more blood out of the cut. It was a bloody massacre in there that Gunnar Nelson just put down. And what a way to come back. What a way to put on a what have you done for me lately performance. Now we're looking at Gunny. Gunny says he wants to come down to 165 pounds. I love that shit. I don't know who it was. Fucking midget Mark Marundi, I think. He was over there on his show, and they said, what 165-pound matchup do you want to see? Maybe it makes sense to match up a 155er with a 170er for the first fight there. What 170ers do you want to see? Sean asks him. He says, none. I don't want to see any of them. Okay, so you don't want to see Cowboy. You don't want to see Masvidal. You don't want to see Gunny. What other? I don't know. Mike Perry's kind of on the fringe. He's a thick motherfucker, though. There's a few others out there. that I can't think of right now off the top of my head. The Tractor, that Brazilian guy, Prasaris. He was a thick 155er that could never make the weight. Now he's at 170. Maybe he could drop 5 back to 165. There's plenty of guys I would like to see of that. If that's your response, I honestly think you're not looking at it enough. And so, Mark, you need to go back home and do some fucking homework, bro. Jesus Christ. I thought Cowboy would light him up, but Gunner looked like a new man, says Jay Smooth. You both pick Evil Cowboy, and I pick Gunner, says Kevin from Chicago. Slow cap from Kevin. Getting it right. Letting it be known. Raider says, really, I thought Gunner looked nasty as fuck. He needs another quick fight. Hell yeah, man. Let's get a quick turnaround for Gunny. And being a training partner of Conor, that really helps. UFC wants to push you. Gunny kind of always got the push. He stepped up to Rick Story, though, in that main event and fell short. Since then, though, they've just been a little bit more hesitant on the Gunnar Nelson train. Gunnar Nelson at 165s, though. Gunnar Nelson's grappling there. He could be a goddamn killer, man, because that was the only thing. We just thought Gunny has always been like a natural 170. Mark is a stupid retard, says Staley. Oh, shit. I don't know if that pops up in the chat. Turn on your live chat, guys, just in case you're getting the edited shit over here. From there, though, Hakeem Dawandu versus Kyle Bochniak. A unanimous decision. Should never belong on a pay-per-view. This is just some filler shit that we get because the UFC's got too many cards and it's not stacked enough. That should never have been there. But definitely Jimmy Manuwa versus Thiago Santos. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, Thiago Santos solidified him as the new Cowboy Cerrone. The man that's going to come in, step up on short notice, new division, whatever the fuck it is. He fought more frequently this year than anybody. And from what I'm told, in the latest years, he's got more finishes than a lot of folks out there. Maybe anyone, especially in a short career. Thiago Santos looks excellent. Jimmy Manuwa got freaking starched out here by this man. And don't be mistaken, guys. This is the same man that lost to Gegard Mousasi, the current Bellator champ. So if you guys want to keep downplaying the Bellator champions, don't forget Mousasi beat his ass. But Santos looked incredible. And in only 5 minutes and 44 seconds, he's able to take out Jimmy Manuwa and skyrocket himself up the light heavyweight rankings, man. Light heavyweight needed some injection of some fighters. Well, 185ers that lose, 185ers that just need kind of a quick turnaround of their career. Here you go, 205. Let's do the damn thing. And they're doing pretty actually awesome up there in that division. You got Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, which have both come up, I believe. And then guys out there like Dominic Reyes, that other Russian or whatever guy we just saw recently. We got a nice injection of some talent, which is awesome to see. Let's go down to some prelims. We definitely have to touch on one freaking fight from the earlier portion. Claudia Gadelha loses a split decision to Nina Ansaroff. Jesus Christ. As soon as we write off Nina, including like the UFC. Hold on, before we jump in there, let's read the chat. Thiago is so scary. Let's give Thiago some love. Oh no. Let's get his picture up for you guys. Main card. Thiago. Here we go. Steve Sparks says Thiago's so scary. Jay Smooth says it was a fun fight, Kev. Santos could easily have been finished. Both guys came real close to taking each other out. That's for sure. Some hard matchups left for Santos, though, says Raider. 100%, man, especially for a guy that can't jab. I think it was the co-main event that just went on and on about what if Santos' training partners just never taught him to jab. They only taught him hooks and uppercuts and all types of shit. just to fuck with him. But then he got so good at it. What, you can't teach him it now. Man was a Kansas BLT. I don't know about all that. Santos fought his heart out and was able to escape with a KO during the wild exchange. Definitely. Manoa's chin is gone. This is Kevin from Chicago. He got rocked in the first. That connected. Oh, man. And a lot of guys are looking that way, man. Since you see them take so much freaking damage and their chins diminish. As fans, it's just heartbreaking to see at times, man. But this is the sport we live in. You sure in the fuck wish that these guys got some sort of retirement so you can feel a little bit better about it. But that's the state we're on. I went like 0-4 on splits this card. Some bullshit. Some C-stars. God damn. Think Claudia's off the juice? Says Raider. I don't know. I might have to check out her Instagram a little bit more. Poor Claudia, says Stewie. Claudia, not on a fantastic run as of late. We will have to at least admit that, man. But yeah, let's check this out. Claudia and Nina, they go at it. And look at this strike count that Nina throws on her. 246 total strikes to 170. It's significant-wise, 192 to 98. 4 takedowns landed out of 20 by Claudia, but with just way more strikes. Nina, who has steadily been improving, man. We definitely seen it up there in the cage. Comes back in a big way. Just, I don't even know how many fights she's won in a row. I think she took out like Angela Hill or someone recently. And guys, she's climbing up the division. We pretty much wrote her off. And she just comes out and beats Claudia Gadelha, which is definitely one of the top ranked chicks at strawweight. At this point in time, we need to start building some chicks though. So I'd like to see Ansaroff put in a high-profile fight versus someone that's going to make this next one exciting, and hopefully we can make a finish out of it. What do you guys think? Claudia caught the Nuva Ungao bug last. Oh, no. Claudia winning 1-2, says Kevin from Chicago. How did you guys score it? Did anyone score it for Ansaroff, or did everyone have Claudia? Oh, man, once Claudia barely won the Esparza fight, I was like, she's done, says Raider. Shit, you can barely beat the Cookie Monster? Are you about done? Unanimous decision was a bad call. Claudia didn't get dominated like that. Wait, what? I thought this was a split decision. Crazy. 4 takedowns to none. Nina getting the fight tips pillow talk. She does have a champion as a training partner and a lover. Maybe they're training in the sheets as well. It's crazy how the tables have turned when the UFC hottie Claudia Gadelha loses to Nina Ansaroff, lady of Amanda Nunes. What do you guys think? Holy smokes. And then here's the split decision. I think Caitlin Chukagian and Jessica Ai. 0 takedowns for both of them. Jessica Ai outlands her opponent, though, 162 to 130. Landing at a clip of 43% compared to only 32% of Caitlin's significant strikes. And y'all want to laugh at Jessica Ai and write her off. Oh, her record at 135 is shit. Her UFC record is shit. Well, dig down a little bit more. Look at her flyweight record. And she's talking shit loud on the mic. Stuff they can use for promos, which is nice. And also, who's there at 125s? Well, the latest rankings just came out. And Jessica Ai is right there. She might be next up. And she's out here at the very end calling to get on the Joe Rogan podcast, which if you do that, man, you get on that podcast, you can almost fucking guarantee yourself a title shot after that shit. you get on there, you're definitely getting some love. Not only from the MMA family, but from the JRE family. And that could definitely hate you out. It's not quite the Snoop Dogg, Sugar, Sean O'Malley. You're not going to get that much of a boost, but getting on the JRE is a huge boost as well. Somehow in the chat, we're talking about Tatiana Suarez, though. Tatiana's a beast. She's going to rape all those bitches. That's why I would like to see her jump up to 125 pounds. I think the extreme cut that she's doing is basically cheating. She's going to wrestle fuck everybody that's down there. I don't know if she can do that to Rose. We shall see. But before any of that, man, I did a poll. Who should be next for Valentina Shevchenko? Tatiana won that shit, dude. Maybe I can find it real quick. If I type in Jessica Lai's name, maybe that'll work. Dan from OR, Jessica. Here we go. So Joanna got the latest. Oh, here's the latest poll. Who's next for Bullet? Valentina Shevchenko. And guys, I want you guys to let me know in the chat as well. Your options are Liz Gorilla Carmouche wins over Kaylin Chukagian, Lauren Murphy, and Andrade, who's going to be challenging for the strawweight title and has won 3 out of her last 4. Jessica Evil Eye, 3 in a row in the UFC's flyweight division. No other fighter has that. Impressive 12-1 record fighting under 135 pounds, so not fighting at bantamweight. That's impressive as all hell, man. And then Nico Montano, 5-2, is on a 4-fight win streak. Or Tatiana Suarez, undefeated strawweight, who's fucking huge, who has been Habibing folks out there. You watch the wrist control and the shit she does from the bottom. It's insane what she's got going on, man. So who do you guys choose, man? This poll blew my mind away, to be honest. Who in the fuck was picking Tatiana Suarez, man? That's what I wanted to know. Because that's my pick. Everyone agreed with me, though. And then she comes in with 40% of the vote. In second place, we got Jessica Evil Eye with 32% of the vote. Nico Montano, 16%. And then Liz Carmouche with 12%. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Nico Montano has since been released from the UFC rankings. She's no longer on there. I don't know what's up with Nico at all. Is Nico headed to Bellator? I don't know. I have no freaking idea. She's got, I guess, previous champion on her resume. I don't exactly count it as UFC champion, but whatever. It's on the Wikipedia. Nico Montano potentially heading to a different organization. Now that makes Jessica Evil Eye the #1 contender at flyweight because Tatiana is technically a strawweight. But holy shit. Take 3 of those, throw in the champion, give me a tournament. And that would be nuts, man. But no, Bullet Shevchenko is their favorite. They're just going to feed person after person after person to her and see what happens. Nico Montano's dead woman walking. Tatiana has an anteater face and crazy weight control on the floor. That was Jay Smooth. All right, guys. So with that, back to the UFC. Not as great of a fight as I had hoped it'd be. It did go 3 full rounds. Oh, what did I do? Elias Theodoro. Go watch the GIFs of him fighting and how it's like training the UFC game. And you're having your homeboy just step back while he figures out his bullshit, how to work this shit. Elias is one of the worst fighters to watch. He's never going to make it off the FS1 prelims. Probably he's going to get demoted to the Fight Pass portion, in all honesty. It's just not fun to watch this guy fight. I don't know what it is, man. That's my 2 cents. I don't think he won that shit versus your boy, Eric Anders. But what else we got? One more we need to touch on was the Brad Catone fight. from the early prelim portion versus Matthew Lopez. And I don't care what the fuck this says. This was not a 3-round decision. You guys watch this with me and Jay. And Brad Catone choked out Matthew Lopez with 0 time left on the clock. He had what we was going for, a crucifix position that he kind of turned into a rear naked, which meant he had that arm completely trapped. He only had one arm to defend that he didn't defend with. And only with a 3-second choke, Brad Catone was able to put on so much pressure and stop the blood to where Matthew Lopez was completely out, comes to, and is crawling around like a goddamn zombie, rolling around like a chicken with his head cut off. Fucking ref watched him crawl on his legs for like 15, or on his knees for like 15 seconds, looking like a goddamn zombie, and still didn't call that fight off. Didn't call that shit the finish that it should have been. And Brad, whatever your name is, hold on, let's look up Brad Catone. I put out a tweet on this too. Let's find that shit. Katona. All right, let's just look up Brad then. Shit. How am I going to find that shit? I don't know, guys. You saw my tweet, hopefully, though. That was a goddamn finish if I've ever seen one. What was that guy's name? Hold on, let's go Tapology so we can shame this guy real quick. UFC 231. Let's just go Max. Here we go. And then go down to Brad Catona. The Brian Bockenchamp. Bockenchamp MMA. Go check him out on Twitter. Go shame his ass. Ever since he's been hired, though, he hasn't been tweeting. This fool effed up big time. This is his first step up to a big promotional card in the UFC, being out there in Toronto. And first and hopefully last, because this guy fucking robbed Brad Catona. I don't even, he got his win bonus, but maybe could have got a fucking finish bonus, backdoor bonus from the UFC. Just a finish on his record that definitely should be. Completely robbed. This was some crazy nonsense out here, man. So that's going to be the last thing that we'll hit on. Actually, props to Fight Pass. This was one of the better Fight Pass prelims I have ever seen. Brad Catona, Matthew Lopez. Chad Laprise got starts by Diego Lima. So excited to see Diego Lima get that win inside the octagon. He had his back completely against the wall. Might as well have been able, fucking seconds away from pushing him off the ledge. And he gets the first round KO. Boom, you might have saved your contract there. Diego Ferreira took out Kyle Nelson in only 6 minutes, 22 seconds. And Devin Clark, the MMA Hole's favorite, lost in emphatic fashion. These guys, both men almost knocked the hell out of each other. But Alexander Raychik, that's the other man at light heavyweight you need to keep your eye on. He got a victory as well. That's your recap for you. On to more UFC news. Kamaru Usman, I don't know if, I think Ali's his manager or some shit. Yep, he's tagging Ali here. I don't know if this is some bullshit. I saw Dem Space out on Twitter questioning this contract because of some edits they had seen. But apparently he's showing a contract that he signed with the UFC. But who else? So it seems like Ali's guys are always the guys they go to fuck over a guy and get a fight made. When we need Joanna and Bullet to fight, what happens? We use Ali's chick in Sarge. We act like she gets the fight, and then we take it away from her. When we needed Eddie Alvarez to fight Conor, they acted like they're going to give him Habib, and then they gave it to Conor. Another one of Ali's guys. Now we got over here Marty Usman from Nebraska. He's out here posting a contract, supposedly. And is Woodley going to fight him, even though Woodley wants to fight Colby? Even though we all want to see Colby fight Woodley? Everyone except for the UFC wants that to happen because they don't want to properly pay him. What the fuck, guys? What's going on here? I don't know. I cannot speak to the legitimacy of this. No UFC person dropped this. Kamaru himself dropped it. And this line right here is a little suspect, I would say. There's some other suspect things with the darkening of the lines, but this is all digitally signed. Who knows, guys? Let me know in the chat. Fake news from Nebraska. Marty from Nebraska. Right? Fucking Ben Askren is one of the best things to ever happen in the UFC. His performance going on Ariel's show was freaking extraordinary. He let it be known that Kamaru Dean is actually Marty Dean from Nebraska. So what do you guys think, man? What fight do you guys want to see at welterweight? I'm not even going to throw names at you. What do you want to see at welterweight for the title? I don't care if it involves stripping the interim champ, stripping the current champ. We got an undisputed championship out there. I would like to see it not be disputed anymore. That's me. But what do you guys want to see? Let me know in the chat. From before, though, we got R.I.P. Devin Clark up in here. I agree, Jay Smooth. Hell of a way to go down is on your shield, man. That's for goddamn sure. But let's move on. Sounds like no one wants to talk about Marty from Nebraska, which seems about right. Guys, Shatri Citradong, give him a follow on Twitter. Save the date. The One Lightweight World Grand Prix kicks off February 22nd from Singapore. Okay. We're going to get started with the Eddie Alvarez division. Is Shinya Aoki up in that nonsense? Edward Folo Yang, Eve Ting, all these guys, man. That's going to get started in February. And then coming up in March, One Championship's first visit to Japan. They've been trying to make a big deal about, they even held a press conference in Japan. Got some people to come attend. Didn't really announce much, though. Had a lot of their shine stolen from Risen with all of their announcements. Well, just wait, ladies and gentlemen, because coming in March, I don't know, is Renzo Gracie going to be on this card as well? He really said he wanted to go back to Japan. I'll tell you right here, I think that's what you're going to see. Renzo's going to come back in a Legends Division fight. You're also going to get the live in Tokyo, the Flyweight World Grand Prix. So DJ most likely heading out there. And this is some type of shit that you're definitely going to be seeing on TNT. That's almost a guarantee. These Grand Prix will be up on that 1 hour broadcast. And hopefully they can just mix in a bunch of other finishes and title fights. You know, just give us the best of. That's all we really want. You know, no one, if people aren't going to watch the 4 hour one broadcast, best of in an hour, 12 times a year, once a month, sign me up, man. I'm all for it. But how about that, man? Start to get excited. They already pretty much had announced the Flyweight World Grand Prix, but with so many people that are becoming free agents now, I would like to see a little bit more UFC sprinkled in there, or previous UFC. What about you guys? How does Shatri not? Am I not following him? Huh. Okay. And then Saku Gabara. You guys wanted it. You got it. Gabby Garcia versus Barbara Nepomuceno or Babby. Gabby versus Babby. Who do you guys got in the chat? You wanted a freak show fight over at Risen 14? We got it. Gabby hasn't fought in a fucking year. When she's coming back, ladies and gentlemen. Why did it take so long? Who cares? I know I sent out a tweet about this shit, though. So let's go look at that nonsense. Dan from Oregon. Gabby. Uh-oh. Then we're going to have to go Barbara. Is that? Here we go. Check this out, guys. According to Guilherme Cruz, this is back in November. Brazilian kickboxer Barbara Babby Kickboxer eyes an MMA fight with Gabby Garcia. Gabby recently signed with Road FC though. I should have put the thing on there. But check out some of her highlights right here. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. And that was MMA Fighting dropping that with Guilherme Cruz. Well, now it's official. And let's check out some more highlights of her. Yada-san dropping some as well. Gabby will face off against Road FC fighter and former World Grand Prix kickboxing champion, or WGB, whatever that is, at Risen 14. Kaboom! How about a bink on that one, Robin Black? Robin Black needs to drop a bink for this chick. Bink! Is she going to be able to do that to the way bigger chick in Gabby Garcia? This is an open weight fight out here. She's a powerful kickboxer. Man, Gabby Garcia has not been tested at all. Not at all, guys. This is the quintessential grappler versus striker matchup here. I'm rolling with fucking Babby in this one. Give me the new chicken, Babby. Can't wait to see this shit. And then can Risen keep you? Can I watch you again on Road FC over on BUDZ? We'll see, man. Coming up soon. New Year's Eve. Live in Japan. We know all of this. We have the full card now. You know what we don't know? Who's going to broadcast this shit? It's been Fight in the past for the last couple of years, bringing us Risen in English commentary, which has been amazing, man. We haven't had that shit. They are not advertising this whatsoever, though. So this must be getting shopped around. You got Floyd Mayweather on the card. You got a super fight between the Gooch versus Darian Caldwell, the Wolf. You got Gabby Garcia in this freak show fight right here versus some chick that can actually bang. You got so much on this card. Scoggins, Manil Cape, or just so much, man. When's MMA Junkie back? They're on vacation all week, Kevin from Chicago. So I believe we'll maybe take their place again tomorrow. Stay tuned for that shit. But Risen's bringing it hard. Who's going to bring it to us? Let me know in the chat. There's a few options out there. Showtime. I'm pretty sure Josh Gross came out and said that's bullshit or something. That most likely is not happening. I forget who the source was. There was a pretty legit source, though, that said Showtime is not in the business of trying to get into Risen. Okay, so they're out. DAZN, obviously, is in the running. Hell, I'll throw Bleacher Report Live in the running. Fight in the running. UFC Fight Pass in the running. That would be crazy. No, I'm just kidding. Not with Darian Caldwell on there. But DAZN, step the fuck up. You already have Bellator. These guys are co-promoting with one another. Having it on the same channel, just tuning into a completely different time zone, a completely different broadcast time, is the only thing that should be the hindrance for us MMA fans. That's what I want to see, guys. Getting Risen on DAZN. That could be as big of a signing as Bellator, in my opinion. They've got Fuji TV over there in Japan. I believe DAZN's in Japan, though, in Germany and US and a few others, New Zealand and stuff. But I don't know. There's different deals with all these promotions. But getting Risen, at least on the US DAZN, would be fucking epic. It's worth a few $1 million. Even more than some of these Bellator. If you're paying them a few million for every Bellator that you've been getting, you guys are a little bit out of your mind. You should have saved a little bit of that to throw towards Risen. Guys, I can't wait to see where it goes. My heart wants it to be DAZN, though. What about you? Put it on DAZN. Let's get the 7th one. 6 is a bad number. Let's get number 7. And it's leftovers. They've got the big Fuji deal. DAZN specializes in leftovers. That's why they got Joshua. Now we're going to get freaking Ryzen. Sakakibara, make it happen. DAZN, make it happen. Someone reach out to Ak and Barak. Plead with them. Let's get this shit done. Okay. What else we got here? Let's do it, I guess. Fuck. All right, guys. So we had some disgusting news go down over here. December 7th, 2018. A date that will live in infamy forever. Front Row Brian picks up news from fight_expert who tells him MMA journalist Ian Kidd busted for child porn. And here's the facts. 984 images, 496 videos. Yet it's virtue signaling about PEDs and Greg Hardy. Link below at the Evening Times. Link below at Planet Radio. And it was so bad. So bad, guys. This is some disgusting, crazy shit that they figured out. Apparently, he was charged in 2017 and was not convicted until 2018. The most disgusting part about this is these guys got no jail time. They didn't go to jail. They're on home house arrest. They have to be at home from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or some shit like that. It's a fucking travesty. They then only have to be registered as a sex offender for 3 years, which is insane. It's completely insane. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Big travesty to go with it was with the lack of response from Vox Media, everyone at Vox Media, the lack of response from Bloody Elbow themselves, the lack of response from all of the colleagues as well, just not even coming in and saying, just read some of the disgusting news, can't believe it, stay tuned for the initial response. Some fucking shit like that, man. And I somehow, I don't know, I'm not a crazy liberal, man, like a lot of folks. And so when people talk about pedophiles up at the top of all industries, aka pedogate, I believe that shit. It's not a crazy conspiracy. It makes complete fucking sense. And so when you see this, and oh yeah, let's just that all the liberals act like it's not even true though. Listen to Luke Thomas. He'll tell you the fucking deep state doesn't exist. Pedogate isn't real. It's all fucking LARP or whatever. And everyone on the left does that. And who's the left? Vox Media. Go read the shit that they put out. They are so liberal, so left, and they don't report on pedogate. They don't report on pedophiles. They don't report on none of this shit. So when you see that that's the response by Bloody Elbow, that's the response by Vox Media, it's not anything that I didn't see coming, man. That's why I jumped all over it and tried to just document what was going on Twitter. What happened in the 18 hours while they weren't reporting on this, while there was no statement, or the 33 hours, however long it was. Fucking, I did my best to capture that all together into a moment so you guys can read the official story. You don't have to go to the state-run media, Bloody Elbows report themselves, and read about what exactly happened, because it didn't get handled correctly. The response was delayed far too long. And then go check out now guys like John Nash, who are essentially defending a pedophile. And you may be like, oh, well, technically he's not defending a pedophile. Look at the fucking optics of the conversations he's having with FRB on Twitter. How he is trying to figure out, well, he's not a producer of child porn. He's just a consumer. It's like, okay, so he didn't hold the camera himself. He's just a connoisseur of this shit. The dude was collecting for 12 years. The other guy that got busted, I believe, only had like 5 or 7 years. So if anything, I think Ian Kidd is not only collecting the child porn, He is turning other people onto it. He's making pedophiles out of other people and avoiding jail time for that shit. It is disgusting, the reaction that I seen, the defensive mentality from Bloody Elbow, instead of just taking this shit on the chin because you yourselves didn't fucking drop in a response. That's on you. You want to claim legal, that's on you. You have to live with that shit in your conscience, in your heart, forever. So you don't want to come out and call it disgusting behavior and wait for your goddamn lawyers. Whatever, man. We're going to look down on your asses for it, and that's our own goddamn right. Richard says, I'm liberal, Dan. Bloody Elbow acknowledge his crimes. They find him. What else can they do? I think not defend them, Richard. Don't go out there and defend him and nitpick about, oh, he only watched it. He didn't film it. He only created an interest for it, a supply and demand type thing, right? If there's no demand for it, there is no supply. So to act like they're so goddamn innocent, it's just not right. And I, for one, am not. The defensive stance that they took does not look right. They go out of their way to not credit Front Row Brian all around the place when he definitely should be getting credit. Especially even we had, let's check out the biggest story over here on MMA Reddit. And check this out. This is the numbers that Dana White dropped in a recent podcast when he announced how much he was paying Chuck Liddell and how much he was paying Tito Ortiz. Well, with that, we got a lot of information that we've never had before. FRB goes out of his way, creates a spreadsheet about it, drops it last night on Twitter. We learned that UFC 229 did 750,000 pay-per-view buys from streaming alone. You're talking Amazon Prime, you're talking UFC.tv, shit like that. Who made this? Front Row Brian. Well, Ben Folks drops this on Twitter, aka Liberal Media, and he goes out of his way to credit Reddit, not fucking FRB. Might be an honest mistake on his part, but they go out of their way to never credit the right-wing fucking truther or whatever nonsense that he's got, man. And so that's just disgusting. Don't report the fucking facts. If FRB is the one who blew this shit up on Twitter, because Fight_expert, no offense, fucking Andrew or whatever his name is, he's small like I am, man. The shit isn't going to blow up. You can drop it down all types of breaking news. They don't care. Until someone big fucking throws that shit out there, it's not going to gain the traction. So, John Ash, you want to come at me and be like, oh, it was going to get out there. We were going to talk about it. Yeah, we'll see, man. 3 months ago, this guy got charged. He never got fired. And so, with that, you want to say, oh, just wait for us to respond. Fuck that shit, man. So, yeah, the lack of being able to properly source the shit just because he's a different political party, that's some bullshit, man. If Barry Nose tells you some shit, I'll tell you he did it. If Ben Swan says it, Ben Folks, I don't care who it is. Throw the craziest liberal out there. Joe from H-Town wants to tell you that MMA is racist, I'll tell you this shit. You're going to get the facts here from me. And I'm not impressed with the lack of facts they want to drop in there. That's my take, though, ladies and gentlemen. To sum it up, though, the shit's fucking disgusting. MMA media, you want to talk so much about how these UFC employees should unionize and all this shit. Well, what do we learn about Ian Kidd? He was only a contractor. He was not, they're not required to do background checks on contractors. There's thousands of contractors out there in the MMA game. So how many do we know that are in the free and clear? And how many other sickos are out there, man? I don't know. It's crazy. Especially when Kareem Zidane is out there saying, why should we be running background checks for the USA wrestling team journalists? Little crazy. He did mention, oh, the optics look bad when you look back at this tweet. That's just the reality, though, ladies and gentlemen. Rally for Ryzen live stream Oh, yeah. Broadcast details will be announced soon, says Risen staff. The morning event will not be shown, though. There's no plans to show it anywhere. Whatever broadcast partner ends up picking up this Ryzen morning event, we need this shit. Let's get back to some good news, guys. We need this Risen fight. If this is a morning Risen fight, this means this could be our first primetime Risen that has ever happened ever. This will be a normal kind of East Coast, Pacific Coast MMA showtime, essentially, that we could get from Risen over here. We need to make this happen. We could have Risen primetime and then come back later on. They could build the hell out of the card, which is really going to be the good one, which you got to get up late night for. Well, with a primetime broadcast, which is your morning card over here, that could really help, man. It could really help. Who cares if you don't have the biggest names on there? Risen, we need this card broadcasted, even if it's by, I don't know. I don't really want to watch it via Periscope by someone there or Instagram, but I will. I will do that if you force me to. But we get our hands on this Risen. Where's it going to end up? Risen 14, we need you on the zone. And you can also pick up the Hitsy one as well. We would very much enjoy this shit. Michael Chandler, Purge skit, says Pulse Resurrected. I haven't seen it. Where did he drop it at? What the hell is Michael Chandler's fucking Twitter? Mike Chandler, MMA. God damn it. Okay. Let's look up this skit. Maybe we could give it a play. This song gets me pumped. Is this the one? No. Congrats, Ram Trucks. Sacrifice? Oh wait, hold on. If it's on YouTube, damn it, we can't show that shit. That video was amazing. Well done, Michael Chandler. Oh shit. Too bad we can't react to that nonsense. Can't be showing that video. What if he sprains his ankle again in round 1? Oh my gosh. We're going to get to a Bellator preview either tonight or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Should be having a special guest for that as well. So definitely follow me on Twitter at DanFromOR. And we'll freaking drop some info on that as soon as I get it for you guys. Let's see if we can hit anything up else over here from Reddit MMA. Brian Stan fighting Wanderlei. What? Oh shit. There's some good gifts over here, guys. Cowboy Cerrone's gonna face Alexander Hernandez. What the hell's up with this matchup, man? Cowboy came out and told us he's got a big fight coming. Looks like Dana White lied again, ladies and gentlemen. Cowboy, they're just trying to make a name off of guys for Cowboy now. Pretty crazy. He's dropping down to 155s for this one. I wish the 165s would come around before we make Cowboy, hurt his health that much again. But that's a crazy matchup. I think Cowboy deserves to face more legends. That's just me, though. What else is there? Oh, yeah. Scott Coker sets the date. Let's go to MMA Junkie for this. Sets the date for Bellator World Grand Prix McDonald versus Fitch on tap for March. What else was the dates, though? Bellator President Coker hopes for the 8 main championship tournament to wrap up in September, which would be 1 year after this started with Douglas Lima with his victory over Andrei Koreshkov. Lima is waiting on the side of the bracket, which will face the winner of Michael Page versus Paul Daly. It's going to happen in Connecticut. We already know about that one. The opposing side of the bracket kicks off this weekend on Saturday, Bellator 213. Undefeated prospect Neelam Gracie and undefeated prospect Ed Ruth. So wrestling versus jiu-jitsu. That's going to be awesome. And the rest of them got pretty much matched up. At this point, the only possible hiccups with the tournament is the timeline that surrounds the 170-pound champion and Rory McDonald from getting stomped by Gegard Mousasi, who's still recovering from that beating. And he's going to meet John Fitch in his part of the bracket, said to fight tentatively slated for March. So that's going to happen all in March. The semis in the summer, and then the finals in September. So how about that? The first semis is going to be on the other side then. So then it's going to be Douglas Lima taking on the winner of the striking matchup, MVP versus Paul Daly. Where's that fight going to take place? And that's probably going to be like May, June, probably. And then maybe July. They'll get the other one. And then the finals in September. If I was a betting man, that's what I would say. But guys, we got awesome content coming from Hawaii. Max Holloway, UFC Hawaii. Well, you got beat to the punch by Bellator coming out here doing the damn thing, bringing in Bellator to Hawaii. And they know the costs are high for doing something like this. So you're not only getting one event, you're going to get 2 events. Friday, Saturday, Primus versus Chandler. And then the Flyweight Championship, Letourneau versus McFarlane. And also the Welterweight Grand Prix as well. Stay tuned on the zone for that shit. Let's see if there's any more we can touch on. Tatiana Suarez on her next fight on Instagram. I want Joanna, but I heard she won't be going down to 115 unless it's for a title, which is stupid. Yeah, and you staying at 115, even though it's basically cheating, is kind of stupid as well. So, we can all throw some shade around here. Floyd Mayweather and Gabby Garcia will be fighting on the same card. That's what Mark Money had to say? Okay. The Paul Felder versus James Vick fight, which was scheduled for UFC 233, is now moved to 217. You know what you can do, though? I think they dropped all the movement on Tapology itself. So let's check that out. Rebooked. Alexander Hernandez versus Francis Trinaldo got rebooked already. No, but it all says event canceled. Damn it, I have to go somewhere else to figure out where all those events went. The Courtney Casey fight got moved to Arizona. Courtney Cast Iron Casey, which was a big draw there when I was there the first time. She had her whole sign going down and shit. Get stupid. Go dumb. Oh, yeah, here's the last thing we need to hit on. Let's recap UFC on Fox, how that deal was. In your guys' mind, was that a success or was that a failure? Was UFC on Fox good for UFC or was it bad? And was it good for Fox or was it bad? A failure or a success? What do you guys think? Let's talk about this, man. UFC on Fox. It started off with that heavyweight main event. They had a whole hour broadcast scheduled for it. And it went like 5 minutes, 20 seconds, whatever the fuck it was. Less than a minute or so. And it was kind of a travesty. And then since then, They never loaded Fox with anything special. Over the 7-year partnership, I think they only had 7 or 8 title fights on there. 4 of them were DJ. They never really put a big star on Fox to say, hey, how many people out there don't even have cable, aren't going to pay for none of this shit, but they got an antenna and they'll watch? Well, there were lots of them, man. When Nate Diaz was fighting, it was something like 4 million. The first broadcast ever was something like 10 million. Well, that 10 million number quickly plummeted all the way down through their 7 years, down to something like 1 million is what they're averaging on Fox. That's a complete failure to do your goddamn job on both accounts. I would say UFC, you failed big time at making stars. That's your biggest failure, in my opinion. You can't make any fucking stars out here. You just take people and boister them up that are already stars. Well, you had your opportunity on UFC on Fox, and you didn't do shit. Look at guys who have been built on TV. John Jones got built over on Fuel TV. That was UFC before the UFC on Fox era. Jones got built on like fucking other shit. No one else they tried building ever freaking really worked. And so with that, I call that a failure. In my mind, that's a failure. In my mind, you can't get a high enough pay increase from them that you got to move on. The pay increase that they did receive is not reflective of the actual market. Maybe it is. Maybe MMA's just not worth that much to ESPN, and they just want content for their digital streaming platform. But that's what the UFC was to, we had the big chance to do tent-pole events, mega events on Fox. 4 a year is what they gave us. And we gave them fucking bullshit. Little up-and-comers that we wanted to turn into pay-per-view stars that never worked out. It never made a star. God damn it. My fucking shit is itching itself. It didn't work, guys. I think it's a failure. I think being stuck on FS1, yeah, we helped build that channel. We were a big source of their content. Well, like I already said, I'm a fan of the Pac-12. It hinders you being on that compared to ESPN. So good move on the UFC to moving on to bigger and better things. But in my opinion, it never worked out. We got the worst pacing ever came from these FS1 cards. DVR in it and fast forwarding it became a staple compared to tuning in live and hanging out on Twitter and shit like that, man. So I don't know. On the other hand, if you guys really want to give it some props, let's say what they did do. They brought UFC Tonight, which was a weekly show. It was state-run, but it was awesome. Tommy Tohol gets his start on there, let alone all of the UFC fighters that got to put their knowledge and skills to further use, not just fighting inside the cage, from Dominic Cruz to Bisping to Woodley to DC. All of those people got an opportunity on FS1, on UFC Tonight, and just by having so many cards, we had more commentators get opportunities as well. To me, though, we're in this era where, Fight Pass almost isn't even the UFC. You got to make your way off of that just to be considered UFC caliber. And I dropped this shit just yesterday. UFC caliber is going to be what you're going to see on pay-per-view, what you're going to see on big ESPN. And let's just minus the first big ESPN Plus card. Take that away, and that's your caliber. And then you're going to have like the top 2 events or the top 2 fighters on the ESPN Plus cards. Those are your UFC caliber guys. Everyone else on ESPN Plus, you might as well call that UFC Light. This is the minor leagues. There's so many fucking guys, so many fucking cards. We got to go to all these different countries and all this shit too now. So, who's the European champ? Who's the Asian champ? Who's the US champ? I don't know. We could look at it like that, or we could just say UFC and UFC Light. ESPN Plus, 20 cards a year. It's UFC Light. So, on one hand, if you're like, yes, FS1 sucked, there was just way too many cards and shit. Well, when you look at it, instead of having like 30, you're dropping to only 22 on ESPN. So that's actually a decline. How many people are really going to sign up for ESPN Plus? They want a lot. That's why they're stacking it hard. I think they want like 500K or 250K to sign up in just the first event. That's why they're stacking so hard. But so only 22 mega event cards a year, only 12 pay-per-views a year. Hopefully it's less than that, like 8 or 10. Well, that's the plan right now. ESPN Plus, you just became ESPN Lite. Dan, you should grow out a Viking beard. I don't think my shit doesn't grow in right here, bro, or else I would. Give me some time. Give me like a decade. If I'm like my dad, all my fucking shit will be gray by that point in time. But I would love to bring you some Valhalla beard, some crazy shit. Until then, you get this Joe Dirt scruffy white trash beard, and I hope you love it. Pacing on ESPN for boxing cards is good, so hopefully it translates for MMA cards. I did hear shit out there that pacing will be changing a bit. So we shall see as far as that. But yeah, guys, UFC, that's ESPN. UFC on ESPN, that's UFC pay-per-views. UFC Lite, that is UFC on ESPN. So just get ready for it. Of course, your main and co-main event can still be considered probably UFC caliber, but that's almost how we should be looking at it. If you guys don't want to pay attention to just the pros, just the big, NFL portion of it, you don't need to watch the NCAA if you're not into that shit. But it's kind of the UFC's way of holding a stranglehold on just everything. So a card every week. Bellator can never grow. LFA can never grow. All these other promotions can never grow if you just put on something every week and you're the goddamn Kleenex of the world. What do you guys think? I think in some ways Fox was good. We got the notoriety. We got that mainstream appeal. We got on that shit that was just on every normal cable package. We're on the BUDZ channel. Oh, it's on Spike. And then, Fuel and all that shit. So that was a good move. It was a trajectory that the UFC pretty much had to take. We had to get a little bit more professional and a little bit more professional to make it on ESPN. Because, guys, everything you've seen has all been you want to hate on Dana White, but when he comes out and, he tells you the long-term play is he'd be the biggest in the world to get on ESPN. Well, here we are, man. The Reebok deal sucked. Apparently, that's what ESPN wanted. They wanted it looking a little bit cleaner or uniform. USADA sucks. That's more of an insurance for themselves if there's any devastating injury that goes on inside the octagon, and God forbid the other guy pops positive for some shit. So it's basically an insurance investment there. And now, ESPN, they just wanted that more professional feel. I guess the UFC did whatever they had to do. They've got this slave contractor wages, which UFC loves because the content is the cheapest thing they could possibly imagine out there. So we got that going for us, man. But anyways, guys, that's all the news for today. Stay tuned for later on today or tomorrow morning, and we'll come at you with a Bellator preview, and also that Bellator 212, Bellator 213, both from Hawaii. Maybe preview some of the other of the international events coming up, and of course, the last UFC on Fox ever. Our boy Ally Kenta, he's already got a victory over Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee and everyone think he's one of the fucking best, though. We'll see if Al can come in and prove him wrong. Thanks for tuning in to MMA for Brunch. I'm Dan from Oregon. If you liked what you saw, subscribe, all that good shit. But back to you, sickos. I'm out of here. Peace.